What's up guys, my name is Brandon, welcome to Quick Flicks. Today, we are covering Happy Death Day to You, directed by Christopher Landon, releasing in 2019. Happy Death Day to You is the sequel to 2017's Happy Death Day. However, this film dives deeper into the cause of Tree's Groundhog Day-esque issues, reliving the same day after being murdered by her roommate Lori 11 times. Well, that's what she says, but it was actually 10. Oh, you silly Tree. Anyway, let's stop wasting time and hop into the movie. The movie opens up with a bell tower ringing, and our lovable fine vagina, Ryan, waking up in his car. He walks down the road toward the campus, seeing a vicious little guy on the way and a homeless dude asking for some change. He gets to his dorm room and walks in on the end of the first Happy Death Day. Tree and Carter getting some smooching time in, Carter telling Ryan to go on and get. Ryan gets a call from his homie, Samar, telling him to meet up at the quantum mechanics lab ASAP. He gets there, meeting up with Samar and their other friend, Dre. They tell him about how their science project had an extreme energy output the day before at 12:01 a.m., leading us to believe this is why Tree was reliving the same day. Dean Bronson walks in, being a party pooper and telling them to shut it down, as it has been causing rolling blackouts using too much energy. Ryan sulks on the couch when he gets a spooky photo texted to him of himself. He goes to investigate, eventually ending up in a chemistry lab. He goes to open a closet door when the killer pops up right behind him. Nah, it's just Samar with a churro, but unfortunately dropped it, getting bacteria all over it. Ryan then gets grabbed and stabbed from behind, waking up inside of his vehicle once again. Confused, he walks the path to see the ferocious, scary Whittle pup and the homeless guy. He hurries to his dorm room, telling Tree and Carter about the issue. Tree immediately relates and tries calming him down.
And you're gonna be stuck reliving this day until we figure out how to stop it.
Ryan tells them he was slaughtered by a baby-faced killer, confusing Tree and Carter, as Lori and Toombs are both dead. Ryan tells them where he died, and they go to investigate, attempting to catch this fool. They open the closet, not finding anyone. That's 'cause the killer's right behind them. Nope, just Samar again. They talk about their science project. Tree intrigued. That's kinda hard to say. Try saying that 5 times fast. Tree intrigued, tree intrigued, tree intrigued, tree intrigued, I don't know. Ryan claims they refer to it as Sissy. They take her to it and explain how Sissy was made to manipulate and control time. Tree, connecting the dots, gets quite annoyed and informs him that his little experiment does indeed work. They go to lunch, where Danielle shows up and is still, Danielle.
Ew. Who are these people?
Carter and Tree confirm their relationship.
Carter, tell your girlfriend stop trying to scare me.
Oh, she's not my girlfriend. Oh, wait, are you my girlfriend?
Kinda.
And determine they need to find a safe spot to hold off for the night to ensure Ryan doesn't die. They head to a basketball game that night in hopes of being safe, since they're surrounded by a ton of people. But this seems a little freaky. During the game, Tree sees Tim with his new boyfriend. Aw, that's nice. And gets ready to smooch on Carter when an alarm starts ringing, and a voice comes over the speakers, alerting everyone to evacuate. In the halls, Ryan loses Carter and Tree, but finds a spooky baby mask dude with a knife. He runs away and into a storage room. While attempting to sneak around, he gets grabbed from behind by the killer and almost stabbed, but Tree luckily shows up in time to hit him with a basketball trophy. They unmask the killer and are shocked to see a second Ryan. Ryan number 2 explains that he was trying to close the time loop when he accidentally sent himself into a parallel time loop. He claims they need to kill Ryan number 1 due to some butterfly effect stuff. Ryan number 1 decides to take matters into his own hands, turning on Sissy. Tree and Carter have a bad feeling about it, but he don't care. Dean Bronson and his goon squad roll in to shut the party down, but Ryan number 1 defends his property long enough for Sissy to create what looks to be like a Praxis explosion. I don't know if that's the correct term, pushing everyone back while the flower duet plays. Tree suddenly wakes up to Carter greeting her, and her birthday ringtone playing once again. She's understandably not happy with Ryan, calling him into the room and going off on him. Carter and Ryan look confused as they don't understand what's going on with her. She mentions Sissy, getting their attention, and Ryan takes her to it. They walk around the campus to see the same sequence of events from the first movie. Creepy peeking sunglasses man, stop global warming petitioning lady, kissing couple getting soaked by sprinklers, car alarm, some frat dude singing, causing one to pass out, and finally, Tim, where Tree lets him know,
You are gay!
However, when she gets home, she quickly realizes not everything is the same, as Danielle doesn't greet her upon entry, Lori seems to know Carter, and she apparently never made a poisoned cupcake for Tree. She expresses her confusion to the guys during lunch, and Ryan suspects that Tree is in a multiverse. Despite her waking up on the same day, it's in a different dimension, hence the minor differences. However, there's one major difference going on here, and Danielle and Carter being boyfriend-girlfriend, crushing Tree. We find out Danielle is a bit nicer in this universe, but still kinda dumb in the head.
Did you know Anne Frank was blind and deaf?
Helen Keller.
Tree can't stand the relationship between them and excuses herself, telling Ryan to meet her at the quantum mechanics lab at 3 o'clock. In the meantime, Tree goes to visit her dad when she notices her mom in the corner of her eye. That's right, Tree's mom never died in this universe. We get an emotional moment between the two. This makes Tree second guess whether she actually wants to go back to her own dimension or not, telling Ryan to stop his experiments with Sissy for the time being. Later that night, Tree is back at home scrolling through her phone
Are mine.
when she sees on the news that John Toombs is still alive in this dimension. She heads to the hospital in an attempt to stop him. She grabs a fire axe and heads to his room, only to get apprehended by the cop. But that doesn't last long, as he gets caught off guard and stabbed to death. The killer then chases Tree to a dead end, but the elevator luckily opens, Lori noticing what's going down and pulling Tree into safety. Tree explains that Toombs is trying to kill her, but Lori says that's impossible, as she just took him down to the OR. The lights suddenly go out and the elevator comes to a halt. Lori manually opens the doors, and the two make their way through a floor under construction. Tree notifies Lori that she heard something weird, but Lori eerily turns around, looking a bit unhealthy. The killer pops out and chases her all the way up to the rooftop, but Tree, unnoticing, runs right off, killing herself and waking up in Carter's bed again. She tells Ryan and Carter the usual, and ends up in the lab trying to figure this thing out. Tree tells Ryan she wants to close the loop and stay in this dimension. He goes on about how this is a trial and error situation that requires days of work across various different algorithms. In order for this to work, Tree's gonna have to memorize everything since all progress will be lost every day. This kicks off our hard times montage of Tree learning and memorizing every failed algorithm, then killing herself after to get this thing going quicker. There's a lot of fun, creative, and just downright hilarious deaths in this montage. It's a ton of fun. I'd recommend watching the whole thing. Tree eventually jumps off the bell tower staircase, which has a really cool transition of her landing in Carter's bed. She stands up, not feeling well, and passes out onto Carter. She awakes in the hospital, with Carter by her side, making Tree all lovey-dovey, knowing he still cares about her, despite being with Danielle. The usual rolling blackout occurs, and Gregory jump scares Carter. He tells him to leave, and explains to Tree about how she should already be dead due to all the trauma her body has gone through. You know, a repeat of the same scene from the first movie. Although, she quickly figures out Gregory doesn't even know her in this timeline, and they have no prior history at all. Tree then remembers Lori, and alerts Gregory that she may be in danger, and that John Toombs is potentially getting ready to kill her. He runs off, and Tree shortly follows to help, knocking out the cop and taking his gun. She makes her way down to the OR, and into a room to find Lori dead. She turns around and puts the killer down with 2 shots. She unmasks him to see John Toombs, but that ain't the only killer, girl. The other killer grabs her from behind, but Tree decides to blow themselves up. She wakes up and heads to the lab, explaining every single algorithm attempted thus far, and according to their calculations, there could only be one possibility remaining. Ryan quickly types it in, confirming her knowledge, exciting everyone. She confirms that she wants to close the loop, rather than going back to her dimension. Ryan starts to close it, but it fails, apparently due to a virus from Samar's porn addiction. Ryan tells Tree needn't fear, as he'll write the code within 7 hours. Tree skedaddles, and instead of going to the hospital to save Lori, her selfish tendencies come back momentarily, and decides to lay low with her parents for the night. Carter says that staying in this dimension will diminish the emotions that she went through when her mom died, which made her who she is today, and instead of staying, she should say goodbye, as not many people really get that chance. Tree don't care though. She'd rather survive, along with keeping her mom alive. She leaves and goes to her parents, pleading that they just leave town for the night. They agree and head on down the road, while Ryan is getting Sissy ready to close the loop once and for all. While driving, Tree's mom reminisces about some cinnamon rolls they ate a year ago on their birthday. But Tree isn't feeling the connection, as she has no recollection of the memory. They eventually stop at a hotel, and while watching Creature from the Black Lagoon, Tree talks with her mom about life. Her mom goes on to say that no matter what, she'd always pick to be with her dad, no matter how many second chances she was given. This brings Tree to the realization that she wants to be with Carter, rather than living someone else's life. Meanwhile, Carter plays hero, and goes to the hospital to save Lori, but Tree finds out on the breaking news that he was killed in the process. Tree tries calling Ryan to stop Sissy and not close the loop, or else Carter's gonna be dead forever. After not getting a hold of him, she jacks her dad's car and rams it into a power station, killing the power from Sissy and herself. Just in the nick of time, she awakes in Carter's bed, and they head to the lab, where she confirms to Ryan that she wants to be sent back to her universe. While Ryan works on Sissy, Tree decides to say goodbye to some people, starting with Lori. She goes on to say how she's an amazing roommate, and confirms that she knows her and Gregory are doing the do, and tells her to cut it off, as it's not worth it. Then ending the convo with a hug. She then goes to Danielle, beginning to apologize for being a bad friend, when Nick, guy from the first movie, walks in from a shower. I guess Danielle wasn't much nicer after all. Filthy cheater. Tree finally makes her way to her mom, saying how much she loves her and how beautiful she is. You know, the typical stuff you'd probably say to your mom. Honestly, this is quite an emotional scene, executed so well with an amazing acting performance from all around. Tree says goodbye, and they blow out their birthday candle together. Tree then heads back to the lab, where Sissy is ready to go, but not before Dean Bronson interrupts once again, taking Sissy away for the same reasons as earlier. They figure out a plan to steal it back. That's right, it's time for a heist. They use Danielle for help, as she's apparently a great actress in this universe.
Did that look real?
She goes into Bronson's office, acting like a new blind foreign exchange student, hitting him and causing destruction to divert his attention away from the gang stealing back Sissy. This actually works, and they get it back into the lab. And while they set it up, Tree decides to head to the hospital to save Lori. Once she gets there, she takes the officer's gun and demands he call for backup. She then gets to John Toombs' room and kills him before he can stab Lori. They run away when the actual killer stops them in their tracks, but Tree already knows who it is and calls him out. Gregory reveals himself and confirms Tree's guess at his motive, saying his wife found out about his affair with Lori and took a page from her book, making it appear as John Toombs did all the killing. Although, they left out one little detail. Shabam! His wife is also helping. Yeah, pretty insane twist, huh? Gregory tackles Tree and retrieves the gun. He gets ready to kill her when he turns to his wife and shoots her instead.
I want a divorce.
He gets ready to kill Tree once again, but Carter distracts him from down the hall, giving Tree just enough time to get on out of there. Gregory turns into a stormtrooper and chases Tree into an MRI room. He tosses her through a window and gets ready to kill her for the third time now, but Tree outsmarts him and turns on a massive magnet, a wheelchair getting attracted and pinning Gregory against it. Tree then lets go of her screwdriver, putting him down once and for all. During all of this, Dean Bronson figures out Danielle isn't really blind and takes his goon squad to the lab to shut it down. Samar and Dre hold down the fort though, preventing them from getting in, while Ryan works on Sissy. Back at the hospital, Tree immediately heads to the hallway in search of Lori to find that she's okay. She gets taken away by paramedics, leaving Carter and Tree all alone. They realize it's time for Tree to go. As the lights start flickering, Carter gives her a good ol' smooch as Sissy does her thing. Although Bronson breaks in and he almost unplugs it, but fortunately doesn't make it in time. We see everyone lying around Sissy, waking up after the explosion. Tree ensures that she's in the right dimension.
Danielle?
Who?
And hugs Carter, happier than ever. The movie ends with Samar,
Oh my god. I think I just shit my pants.
and the screen cuts to black. However, that's not all. We get a mid-credit scene. The group is serving time for their vicious acts against Dean Bronson, and are picking up trash around campus, when the United States government shows up. Dr. Isaac Parker walks up to them in regards to Sissy. He asks them to come with him. They take the group to the DARPA facility, which if you didn't know, stands for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. He takes them to the confiscated Sissy and asks for help, as they have been having many issues with it. He says he wants to trap someone in it as a test subject, Tree saying that she has the perfect candidate. The movie finally ends, with Danielle waking up screaming as she's stuck in a time loop. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie down below. Did you like it more than the first one? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Leave your suggestions down below, and I'll see you in the next one.